All right, we got Walter Shaw, and that's me. Hi, how you doing? Two good-looking guys right here who are not young any. I was telling everybody you don't get to 500 by being a young man anymore. But congratulations, and how's it feel?
Feels good, Chris, and thank you for all that you do. That has taken our program to another level.
Well, look, man, I said right at the end of this game, you're my second longest relationship. My friend Bobby, I met when I was 4. We're still friends today. You've outlasted all the women, which is smart by them, not by you. But it's really been a pleasure. I tell everybody this all the time on the broadcast that you are one of the best people I've ever met in college athletics. And that includes Dan Dockich, ladies and gentlemen. So he's in good company.
It's good to call you Fred, man. We've talked about a lot of life things throughout the time, and it's good to have you on board and see you go through a lot of different things, and you see me go through a lot of different things, and to see to be a part of this partnership has been great.
I'll just tell you what sealed it for me was COVID. And oh, there's junior college athletics right there. The 500 is gone. um, what sealed it for me with you was COVID because we were having a conversation about how are those games going to happen? How is this going to happen? How is that going to happen? And all you could say to me the whole time was, I gotta do something for these kids. I gotta figure out how to get these kids into these 4 years. I gotta do it for the kids. And I was like, man, this is the number one thing that is on his mind. It wasn't about basketball or winning or nothing but the kids. And that's what's always been most impressive about you to me. It's not the kids are first.
Yeah, that's always been my thing. I mean, if without the players, there's no me. I mean, first, I want to be thankful to God for the dream to want to be a coach, and thankful to Queens Community College for giving me the platform to be able to live out the dream. Thankful to my wife who puts up with all of this, and what started out as a date to be able to go out and scout players ended up being a over 20-year marriage, and then and being able to have these parents believe in sending their kids here to you know for for me to be able to coach them and live out the way we do it here at Brunswick. um it's been great.
Yeah, JUCO, I think, is a humbling thing for these kids. And you know what I'm curious about? You mentioned your wife. What people don't realize behind the scenes is this lifestyle is not conducive to a happy home life. You are gone a lot, you're on the road a lot, you're hustling for these kids all the time. You've got a lot going on. So just talk about your family a little bit. Not only your wife, but it's the kids, you miss games that they're playing sometimes. You got to do what you got to do. They're all been understanding all these years.
Well, I mean, one thing I learned early on from my predecessor with the late Gene Doan. He told me to find a coach's wife, and I didn't really know what that meant at the time. But I guess a coach's wife is kind of like a preacher's wife. You have to find a special person who can live that lifestyle, because it comes with different challenges and being a servant to others. And when he met my wife at the time, she was we were college students, and I was going down this path to be a college coach. He said, she'll be a good coach's wife. And later on, I became the head coach here when he decided to move on, and then a couple years later, we decided to get married, and she lives out her life, but our life basically is what we do through the game. She has her work and what she does, and our kids are in the gym all the time, and she likes living in the background when it comes to this. The first 10 years, it was without this gym being here. It was bringing the practice gear and the uniforms home to wash it in our laundry. So she couldn't wait for our gym to be built. Um, Not carry the balls in the trunk and the uniforms, home every night. But then after the building over here was built, and it came with a washing machine, and she was like, "Don't bring them home unless you have to."
Yeah.
So, but our dates turned into you know scouting moments.
Does she like basketball?
Yeah, she does like
Oh,
basketball,
that's good.
and so, one thing I learned from the great Kelvin Sampson, which many people see his team as being one of the top teams in the country, as one of the things he told me years ago, which was, make your family a part of your program, so that way you won't miss them so much. And people who see his program and see his son as one of his assistants and
Right.
his daughter's on his staff, and if you can ever do stuff like that, do that. And my people will see who follow me on social media see my kids tagging along with me. Um, Coaches who see me at the Final Four at the national convention. I haven't been to but one where my family hasn't gone with me. And I've been to over 10 or 12 or so. I think we're going to try to go to Indianapolis this year, and it'll be the second time going to Indianapolis, and we get to celebrate the first time we went with our family. And so it's just a big deal for us to make that a part of what we do. Those are kind of our vacations.
Right. Yep.
So
I know that feeling. You
you
take
know,
working. This is I'm here to go to I go to the beach for an hour every morning when I
mhm,
come down here, and then it's right to work. And so
yeah.
that's how you gotta
So
do it. But
that's big. And my players end up becoming big brothers to my kids, and
well, you're gonna
you
hear
know
from some of them, by the way.
and so it was kind of cool to, my daughter was playing music today, at the game, and she's 16. My son is in practice every day running, kind of as a de facto manager or a scout. I mean, they all kind of work as scouts, but my daughter kind of goes with me to help scout at times, and my son, like I said, works as a manager at times. He's in middle school, and so they're just a big part of what we do.
Let me ask you one more thing before I let you get out of here and go celebrate a little bit before tomorrow. Uh First win to this win. How do they compare to one another?
Well, I never knew if I was going to be here this long. To be honest, they asked me in my first year, if I thought this was a long-term situation. And when you were practicing at the elementary school, on a 60-foot floor, the wall was out of
Did
bounds.
they have the old key where it went wide?
No, they didn't have the key where it went wide, but if we wanted a regulation floor, we had to go to UNCW. And that's how I got involved with the program. I was a manager at UNCW, opening the gym for the BCC program. And if we wanted somewhat of a regulation floor, we had to go outside to the park on a good day. And we got to high school or middle school on a game day. When you're at that point, that's not your vision of what you think you're going to want to coach in. But at the time, you're young and hey, I'm a head coach, so
Right.
I'm gonna do whatever I can do. Um, so when you're at that point, you're not looking at this as a long-term destination. But they did ask me, if I saw this as a long-term thing, and I'm not going to lie, I gave them a untruth, and I said, yeah, in the right circumstances, it could be long-term. But I never thought the right circumstances would ever appear. And every time I turned around years later, the circumstances got better,
Right.
and then they got better, and then years later they got better. And where I am right now with the administration and support in the community, I never thought it would be where it is right now. So I mean, I'm living out a dream at a level that I never fathomed could ever be what it is at Brunswick in Brunswick County.
Yeah,
Um,
I think, banners happen because of talent on the court, but banners also happen when you have that support, when you have, people behind you, when you can kind of breathe a little bit and do your job. There's a lot of things, there's a lot of little things that go into all of these banners that are blocking my view,
oh,
you
for
know?
sure.
So that's certainly plays a role in it. Coach, man, congrats. I'm glad we got first interview in 9 years, post game interview. Y'all know I hate post game, so this will be the last one ever. But I've always said this, and I really mean it. My career is going as long as yours does. So how much more work do I got ahead of me?
Uh, it sounds weird, but I thought about this last week. I mean, under the current circumstances and the way things are trending, You ever feel like you've been somewhere a long time, but you're just getting started?
Right. Yep.
That's kind of where I am right now.
You heard the man. You're stuck with me for a while.
So the way things are trending, what I've come from, where I've come from, and under the circumstances which I've come from them, I feel like the sky's the limit around here. Dreams are coming true not only for the young men that I've had a chance to coach, but for myself. And I think we can really blow this thing up and make it a lot bigger than what it is. And there's a lot more unfulfilled dreams, not only for me but for other people as well. And so um, I have no idea. I'm just gonna live it out, see where it goes.
All right. Well, we'll maybe do this again at win number 700. How about that?
Let's see where it goes.